to Laughter for All. It's the podcast with comedian Nazareth.
Hello. Welcome to another podcast, Laughter for All. And man, this is our fifth week. No, actually, it's our fourth week. Because I'm not good with math, so this is our fourth week, and we go live on Facebook on Mondays and 2 p.m. and it will be on your podcast. So I'm excited. I love this. This is easier than what I thought. You know, whenever you start doing something and you go, oh, this is going to be difficult. But if you take it one step at a time, and I took it 1 week at a time, and it's really getting easier. I'm going, how am I going to get some guests? And my comedy friends just jumped in and helped me the first 3 weeks and today as well. And then next week I'm going to have a funeral home director, actually a friend of mine who owns a funeral home. He's going to be on the show. And you go, Nazareth, this is called the Laughter for All podcast. Can you laugh about death? We're going to joke and do stuff, but we're going to be serious. We want to encourage people who have a loved one who's really getting old and dying, or you know, they have to deal with death. I mean, as a Christian, I think I know where I'm going, and I know what on the other side of death, so it makes it easier to talk about it. And we can laugh about anything, you know. It's not being insensitive. This is how comedians really react to life. We joke. When I go to a funeral, my side hurts not from laughing. My wife keeps kicking me with her elbow because I start laughing. When it gets so quiet and sad, I start laughing. And that's how I express my emotions, and she just stabs me with her elbow. But and then coming up, Mark Gungor from Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage, great pastor from Celebration Church in the Bay, Wisconsin, Green Bay, and he's going to be on the show with us. Pastor Chuck and Pam Bure from Crossroad Church in Corona, my pastor, is going to be on with us later on. So it's exciting. The kind of people that's coming on the show, and we're gonna laugh, but we want to encourage you. And this weekend I was busy. On Friday I did a show in Corona, and then Saturday I flew into Chico, California. If you don't know where Chico is, it's about an hour and a half drive from Sacramento, and they are known for the yo-yo capital of the world. Really, the yo-yo capital of the world. Houston have NASA, Chico have yo-yos museum, and it's interesting because I was reading about the history before. When I do a comedy show, I like to read about the history of the city. And what happened is this: Chico, California was established by the Chinese. They would build the railroad track, they built the city, and then after a while they they kicked them out, and they burned their little China in Chico and kicked the Chinese out. And I was reading all that at the Rice Bowl restaurant, the Chinese restaurant in Chico. So they kicked the Chinese but kept the restaurants. There's 5 Chinese restaurants in Chico right now, but the people were great. We were raising a gala for Cast Hope where they help teenage kids, so that was great. And then the next morning at 4 in the morning, I got up and I drove 4 hours to Twain Harte, and I did the morning service there, and was talking. There were 4 troubled teens there, so really it was really meaningful for me to make them laugh for about 45 minutes and then share the good news with them. So that's what I did this weekend, and getting up at 4 in the morning and driving for 4 hours was really, really difficult because I do comedy, so I don't have to get up early, but I do get up early. So for when I have gigs or when I have to travel, because I don't want to leave California. It's easier for a comedian to be in Denver or Dallas, but I don't want to leave California because God called me to California. So I'm going to be here in California. Well, I'm very excited today because I have a wonderful, wonderful guest, a comedienne. Yes, a comedienne. It's hard to be a comedienne, and I don't know why it is harder, because the road is tougher. It's harder to be a comedian. So I really appreciate female comedians. They're amazing. Especially when they are very funny, like our next guest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you just have a taste of what she does, and then I'll introduce her correctly.
she was on the phone with her friend talking about some other friend's issues, and I busted her. I was like, Barbara, you can't talk about like issues like that. You're Christian. She's like, that's where you're wrong, baby. We're Christians and we don't have issues. We have prayer requests, okay? I was like, you need therapy, Barbara. She's like, no, I don't. I have small group. Thank you, Jesus. Because we all know what happens at small groups stays in the church newsletter. The one on Facebook. It's a closed group. So I learned this from my mother, and some of you are going to really appreciate this. This is my new ministry slogan. She taught me, it's not gossip if your head is bowed. Yes. Okay.
That is Kerri Pomarolli. She's an American stand-up comedian, an actress, a motivational speaker, and an author. And she's based in Los Angeles. She has appeared in over 75 stage productions and have recurring roles on Port Charles and The Young and The Restless and General Hospital. She has been in motion pictures such as DeadLock and her latest on Netflix, The Brennan Manning Story. She has published 4 books. In 2008, she published Guys Like Girls Named Jenny. She's a majorly sought-after corporate motivational speaker with past clients such as Ford Motor Company, Chrysler, and Cisco Systems. She can be seen on Nick at Night, Mom's Night Out, her TV web series Momland, with co-star Angela Hoover from America's Got Talent. Kerri has 29 appearances on The Tonight Show, people. 29 appearances. She toured with everyone from Sherri Shephard, from The View, to Candace Cameron Bure, Jim Carey, to Carol Channing. Sherri Shephard, good friend. We started on the same day at the same club 30 years ago. We were in the same open mic night, me and Sherri Shephard, at the Improv in Santa Monica. I love that lady. Kerri hosted the GMA Dove Awards at the Grand Ole Opry. She hosted her own show, Laugh Break, on Mom TV and was a co-host for Mom TV at the Golden Globe Awards. She has also appeared on Good Morning America, Showbiz Tonight, CNN, Lifetime TV, and the Oxygen Channel. She was born in Dearborn, Michigan, isn't it? Which now populated by Big Arabia. I know in Anaheim here we have Little Arabia. Dearborn is Big Arabia. So really, that's interesting to have someone who's born in Dearborn who's not from the Middle East. Pomarolli was born in Dearborn, Michigan. Since she was young, her mother enrolled her in dance classes. However, at the age of 11, she was diagnosed with scoliosis and was not able to pursue a career in dancing. I can relate to that, having rheumatoid. We'll talk about. She attended the. Look at this is interesting for any actor to have one of these, but she have all 3. She attended the Stella Adler Conservatory. I can't say that word. Stella Adler Conservatory in New York. She also the British American Drama Academy in London. She graduated from a 2-year program at Second City, and she also studied at the Groundlings for improv. For that, you know what? You gotta take your hat off for her. And so please help me welcome Kerri Pomarolli. Kerri, welcome.
Nazareth, I'm so tired after that intro. I'm exhausted.
Me too.
I'm like, enough already about this girl. Enough.
You know what? These are
You're
big
worse
credits.
Than my mom.
These are big credits.
They're all fake. I made them up, but they're, it's good.
Okay, I know. I don't care.
I took Sherri Shephard's bio and I copied it.
It's good to have you on this.
I put every famous person I've ever worked with. I put them on my resume. It's fine.
That's a Christian thing to do.
I swear, I think every time we open for a Christian music act at Spirit West Coast, don't you want to be like, work together with Newsboys, toured with Newsboys? I got a long list of people that I've opened up for.
I just opened, again, not open, but I did a slot right before. I did half an hour before Newsboys. This is my 4th time, and guess what? I finished my spot, and I'm in the car and ready to go to the hotel and leave. Hey, Newsboys, how are you? Good to see you. Let's go. They don't.
I know.
They probably won't remember me. I won't. I don't know all of them.
They that reminds me, I was doing a show with Scott Wood, a very, very funny comedian, as you know.
Yeah.
And I did a show with him at the Upper Room Coffee House on
I
Saturday.
love that place.
Scott, I said, remember when we used to all go out and do comedy? We'd stay out till 11 o'clock and then go to the diner. And now I'm worried about my commute home because I'm going to be too tired. So, I don't know if I can stay for your set till 10. I'm like, oh, my gosh, how times have changed. I've got, a pillow in my back seat of my car. I'm no longer doing the all-nighter gigs.
And that's what's hard, Kerri, because, being a female comedian, a woman, that's harder because comedian, guys, we finish the gig, we can go up to, Denny's and stay up late and hang out.
Right.
And sometimes when you go, we used to do the clubs, and you stay in a condo with the other comedians. And so how was that difficult for you as a comedian?
Well, I came up with all the guys, comedian Bone and Thor and Ron McGee and Rich Prater, and I've never felt like it was a bad thing to be a girl. I almost felt like it was the opposite of affirmative action. They're like, hey, we need a girl. But I traveled with those dudes. I remember there was a trip many, many moons ago to a show called Funny Bones or Bone. Remember?
Yes, the Funny
in Ohio, we all did it. It was like a TV show. And so comedian Bone, who was like my big brother, he had booked me a hotel room and then the boys a hotel room. And he gets there, and I don't know who ran out of money. I'll never know the truth. And he's like, oh, Kerri, there's a problem. I was like, I'm not staying with you guys. But they put me in a suite where it had a 2-bedroom suite. And there was this really funny Korean guy who brought donuts. And he was sitting in the middle of that suite, and I ended up falling madly in love with him and marrying him and having 2 kids with him.
That's
so I
Ron
guess
McGee.
It was a good story. I was Ron McGee. He brought donuts, and I was like, I'll sit by you. But, we have great road stories. I wouldn't trade those for the world. And I hate to say this, Naz, but I kind of miss it. I miss the camaraderie of sharing the road, because I think the more successful you get, the less you get to do shows with other people. And I miss it a lot. I miss the friendships on the road.
And that's a hard thing, because you're a headliner and I'm a headliner, and now you don't have anybody, especially in maybe the Christian circuit or the clean comedy circuit. You're the only one. We're not doing clubs anymore, so you're the only one on the road. You don't have anybody like before.
And
you used to have
I love clubs. That's why I still try to do them, because I want that adrenaline rush. It's part of my ministry. I feel like God has called me to keep doing it, but I get nervous. But I love that adrenaline rush of 5 other comics, and especially if they're really good, feeling every single time I go, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? So I definitely would not want to stop trying to do shows. I did a show with a really funny guy named Dustin Nickerson.
Oh, he's so funny.
He's so funny. And it was great, because I was like, I want to go up there and do my best and just have that friendship. And then he's got kids, so he left. He didn't even watch my set. He was like, bye, I got to go. So I don't know. I think we're getting old and tired, but I love performing with other comics. I love it. It's always so much fun for me.
It's not getting old. It's just, we have responsibilities. I do. I finish, I will be on the first plane back home the next morning, or if I can get a late. Why?
Absolutely.
I want to be home. And being a single mom with 2 kids, with 2 daughters, Lucy and Ruby, how difficult is that? Because some people don't have a clue how difficult it is to be a single mom and still do comedy, go on the road, and do all that.
Well, I have this crazy God-ordained situation where I have an ex-husband, and we did not have an angry divorce. It was a very sad divorce, because I don't love divorce. And I have an ex-husband who is just a wonderful father and a wonderful support. And we made the decision that even though I was going to be sole custody and, breadwinner and all those things, that when I was gone, he would come to my house, and that they would never leave my house. They would never leave the one house, so they would not be disrupted by their parents' issues. So when I'm on the road, I'm very blessed. Some cases that their dad, that hasn't always been the way it was, but now it is that way. And I have 2 wonderful roommates, and I just have a village, because I can't do my job if I can't travel. But I will bet your bottom dollar I'm on that 5 a.m. flight home. I want to come home. And, there's no rest. So I come home and it's ballet class. Like yesterday, I got up in the morning. I flew to Phoenix. I did a show in Phoenix. I flew home. I walked in. I put the kids to bed, gave them dinner, and then went to a writing meeting till like 11. So that's just no rest. But I love it. I love my job, and I'm really grateful.
And you are, and that's a special case. That's like you said in the beginning. That's God showing favor for that. Because when you, and I know in Christianity or in churches, you don't want to talk about divorce and you don't want to talk about this. But you know what? Your situation is different because sometimes that ex is not really as nice, even though he's a Christian. I don't know. See, to me, I don't know where you go from your everything I want to I want everything you have. I mean, that I know that your situation was excellent. I mean, if anybody is getting a divorce, this is the best situation. But
I mean, and I really didn't know it was going to be that way. My husband, he's very open about it. He had some personal struggles, and it wasn't like it was tough, but I'm just like, God, I will not be a casualty of this. I worried if I would ever work again, and is the church going to put a scarlet letter on my neck? And, I was having a conversation with Bob Smiley, comedian, and he had gone through some really hard times. And he's like, why don't we do a show? Why don't we tour? Why don't we do a show for singles? And, we've ministered to thousands of singles with this tour I did with Bob. I'm still doing it, called Singles Not a Four-Letter Word. And I basically just said to the devil, look, you picked on the wrong chick. Like, I'm loud, and now I'm going to minister from a place of victory no matter what you throw at me. And I truly think that Ron will always be family. My ex-husband, he's at the drugstore right now buying me medicine. He's texting me. I told him to call in. But, we're very, very good friends. And I know that that's not everybody's case, but I really was like, Lord, I've honored you in my marriage. I've honored you in my life. Like, please find a silver lining for me in this devastating situation. And he has. So when Mommy and Daddy have dinner and the kids live a non-divorced lifestyle, I feel like that's just God who kind of hooked it up that way. We've had to work. We have to make that work. But and it's showing grace because it's not always fun. But neither is marriage. I mean, I'm hearing my married friends complain all the time. So I'm like, I get my own Netflix. I got my own king-size bed. Like, I'm good. I'm very happy.
This is amazing. This is amazing, Kerri. I'll tell you why. Because I am married 23 years. I love my wife. But with kids, there's always that competition between mom and dad for like, you know what? I know my kids love their mom. Their mom is like the Albertson and the Save-On Pharmacy. But the dad is always like the outdoor sports place and maybe Toys R Us.
Yeah.
So what happened is I know my kids love, like my little one, Tally, when she was 4, she was so attached to her mom. And I know if she have to choose, she'll pick mom. But she is going, so my wife had to travel to Baltimore by herself and in an emergency. And so that Tally, I mean, the first night, she treated me like I'm the ex-stepfather. Like, who are you? What do you want?
A serial killer.
Yes, you're like a serial killer. So I started, you know what? I started breaking the rules. Hey, let's stay up late. Let's watch TV. Hey, let's eat chocolate before we.
Yes,
I'm guilty.
Your dad.
I'm
just
guilty.
Buy their love.
I'm guilty. I bought.
Like, did you want pizza again? I was like, oh my god.
Oh, I did everything. We stayed up till 2 watching cartoons and movies and SpongeBob. And then on the 4th day, my wife came back and we went to the airport. And I knew what Tally's gonna do. She's gonna stick to my leg, hold it, and say, "Hi, Mom." No, she ran to Mom. Gave me this dirty look, like this guy been bothering me for 4 days. So it's for your case, you and Ron. It's amazing that how you both can work this out. And then of course the question would come from people: why don't you go back together? I mean,
you know what? There's always a chance of that. I don't tell God what He's going to do, but like I always said, I thought that there was going to be all this backlash of like, why did we? But that's personal, and there were struggles that happened behind the scenes. But I didn't go out and jump on eHarmony because the only men that would ever write me are names like, see you next Tuesday, and I'm like, you're so old, you're not going to live that long. So I'm totally open to dating someone with like old money and like good credit, and that doesn't snore. But I haven't pursued that. It's been 5 years, and I think it's kind of one day at a time. I mean, I think it's just kind of one day at a time. But I've really been pleasantly surprised by the Christian world at large, I guess, that's been really just supportive, and they know everybody's got a story. You know, we know that, Naz. Until you walk in somebody's shoes, you can't judge them.
Oh,
you don't know what
I know.
They fought. You know what battles they fought behind, behind the scenes, I guess you could say. But we're making it work one day at a time. And my kids are totally just funny about it, and it was a devastating discussion. We brought a counselor into the house. My daughter was like 7, and we told her, and she goes, so I have one question. I would like to know what other options you two idiots explored before you jumped to this conclusion. And the counselor literally left. The counselor was like, you don't need me. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. It's just, she's so funny. She walks in the next day, and even that night, you slept on the couch, and she walks in, and she goes, well, I guess that's the only way I'm getting a little brother is if Mommy remarries. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm old. That's never happening. She's like, Mom, Sarah was 80 when she had Isaac, okay?
That is funny.
They have a really good, and they're just awful. They'll just walk into a public place, and she'd be like, my parents are divorced. And I'm like, thank you, Lucy. And my mom's 45. She's just let's just air all the dirty laundry.
I want to play.
I have great kids.
I want to play I have to play this bit about you having kids with the chocolate. We're going to play it, and then we'll get back and talk about that more.
Okay.
All your children's Halloween candy, and then you have to lie to them about it. Be like, I don't know. I took it away because it's demonic. Okay. I got to be careful about using that word in my house because when my daughter was 4 years old, we were on an airplane, Lucy, my oldest daughter, and we were sitting next to this lady, and she was really nice, and it was me, then Lucy, and this lady, and they were kind of off to the side, and I heard my very precocious alpha child talking to her she's 40, and the lady's like, what do you do? She's like, I go to preschool. And then she's like, what do you do? And the lady's like, I teach yoga. And Lucy's like, we don't do yoga, it's demonic, right, Mommy? It's like, no, Mommy just doesn't want to work out. There's Pilates, it's all demonic, sweetie. God never intended for our bodies to go in those positions. We were born laying down,
That was funny. That was really funny because I do eat the chocolate from my kids' Halloween. And what do you said you and Bob Smiley went on a tour for, you both experienced divorce, and you both are Christians, and you both are doing. How did the church receive that?
Oh, they loved it. We had 1,200 people at our first show. We're still touring. There's so many singles out there that need to laugh, and they're hurting, and and his story is different than mine. We have our stories, and we're so different because Bob was on eHarmony. I mean, a minute and a half. He was just dating crazy, and I'm at home with my Netflix and chocolate chip cookies. But we're very, very different, and Bob is happily remarried now, which I was like, you ruined the tour, you idiots. But, we're still. I mean, he would date the most ridiculous women, and they look like avatars. But we had fun. We're still having fun. We're not touring every week, but we have a couple dates, and it's just been fun because there's a lot of singles that are single for the first time, single for the second time. So we do ministry, and it wasn't lay out my dirty laundry ministry. The whole point of that tour is you're okay, God loves you, even though you're not married, and some of the churches are telling you that you're half a person. We don't believe that. So
right.
let's laugh about it.
And you know what? One of the things that really close to my heart, and it's sometimes when the wife is being abused, or not physically but verbally and all that, and then you see the double abuse by the church, because the pastor comes in, you got to submit to your husband, you got to do this, you got to do that, and they don't know, and the whole church start looking at this woman different because she got a divorce or she wanted to get out of the marriage, and they look at her like she's the one who did something wrong. So it's like double abuse, where the guy is everybody loves him, everybody is nice, he's involved with the church.
Yeah,
so now, and I'm glad this is not the case. You are amazing because God has done miracles even in your situation. And there's another huge miracle that that I know. I love this podcast because this is my chance to be real and to have people and be comedians. Comedians are the most real people you will meet. We love to talk about issues that churches and people don't want to talk about. And I know you had a miracle with Ruby, your youngest baby, because
I did.
tell us about that. Tell us, encourage the listeners with that.
Well, my daughter was. Is that me?
There's water. I don't know. Are you?
Are you taking a bath, Naz? Like,
I'm in the bath, but people shouldn't know that.
Can you turn down the bubbles? Okay, it's fun. So I've always believed in healing, and Nazareth, I want to let you know that you were one of the first comedians that inspired me to combine ministry with comedy. I saw you do it, and you talked at CCA about how that was important. So I learned to do that, and so I really have a passion for miracles, like supernatural, awesome stuff. And so I would be at my comedy shows and seeing actual things happen from the stage, off stage, and it was a joy. And to make a very long testimony short, my youngest daughter, Ruby Joy, was born with incurable diseases. There was not a cure in sight. She had a hole in her heart. She had a lung disorder, chromosomes, heart, lung, all this stuff, brain, everything. She was supposed to walk with a walker. She was supposed to have oxygen until she was possibly 18, heart surgery. It was bad. It was really bad. And that's when people came around me to support me. But there's two ways to do that. You can buy that T-shirt, and there's nothing wrong. I'm not judging anybody who says, I'm going to buy the T-shirt, I'm going to raise a special needs kid, I'm going to love her just the way she is. That's probably the easier route. Mm-hmm. I went to the Bible with my church, and my church found Psalm 103. And Psalm 103 says, I have healed all your diseases. And I looked it up, and I couldn't find anything in the Bible that said, I will heal all your diseases unless the doctor says it's incurable. And at the same time, my mother got diagnosed with her third bout of breast cancer. And so I was just like in it. I was doing the ugly cry under my bed, eating old candy, just like I couldn't even deal. And Ron and I were trying to process, but we made a decision that we were going to trust God. Not only was I going to trust God, I was going to bust in that hospital like an Avenger and like pray for everybody. And I was like, devil, you've messed with the wrong thing. Because when you have a mom that's angry and knows her authority in Jesus Christ, like, watch out. And so the doctors would tell Ron all these bad things about my baby, and then Ron's like, please don't tell her mother that. You don't know what you have coming. But we just fought. I fought in the spirit. I didn't talk about it on Facebook. I didn't announce that there was a diagnosis. I didn't tell people about social workers telling me I was going to raise a mentally disabled kid. And I watched God work. The first thing that happened is her heart healed itself. She did not need surgery.
Praise God.
She came home, and she was on all this oxygen. Can you hear me?
Are you talking about me? Are you talking about me?
Oh, my gosh.
There's a phone caller.
Nazareth.
That's the fun caller. Who's
Nazareth.
that? Yes.
Nazareth, do you let anyone call into the show? Did you give my ex-husband this number?
Is this your ex-husband? Is that your ex? Is this Ron?
Yes.
Ron, I told you I'm working.
Ron
I'm on an
McGee.
errand for her still.
Ron McGee, I love you, man. Oh, this is good. This is getting good. This is getting good. Ron McGee, how are you, brother?
I'm pretty good. You know any single women?
I have one on the air right now. Oh, my.
Today, Nazareth. Don't tell him where you are. Don't tell him what I made you go get me.
Oh, okay. So I thought you guys are on good terms. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Ron, how are you, man? I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while. How you been?
I've been good. Just maintaining, I guess. And then I guess nowadays, with all of the way that the social media and everybody's prompting everyone to be real nice to each other about body positivity, I realize now it's okay to be fat.
You know what? You are one of the funniest people I know, and I gotta share this. I gotta brag about this. I don't care how many times you heard it or people heard it. Ron McGee used to work at a print shop where my one of my relatives' girlfriend was a manager, and she was telling me how funny that guy is. And I went to that store and I saw him and I listened to him just talking, and I actually grabbed him from his hand and had him into my comedy class. And then within few months, he was opening for me. Within a year or so, he was doing all the clubs, and within 4 years he was taking gigs from me, and I was calling people and say, hey, you're paying Ron that much and you giving me less than that. How could you? But you are so funny. I would love. Are you still on stage? Are you still going up, Ron?
Not as much. I do more writing, but I gotta say, it is refreshing in this day and age. Everything's so polarizing, and yet here we have a Middle Eastern man recruiting young men to not bomb. That's his goal.
Yes, and I've been going around the country doing a message now about like sharing the good news from Hebrew 4:12 says stab them, which is, stab people with the word of God, and so people going, wait a minute, a Middle Eastern is asking people to stab them. But this is good to hear from you, and you know what? I'm so glad you came in. This is divine timing that you came in. How did you feel about this miracle with Ruby? Where was your faith? Because I know where Kerri's faith was. Where was your faith?
Well, in the beginning, I gotta say, I was probably more scared and worried than I let on, because I didn't want Kerri to see. I knew how Kerri would react. I mean, she just gave birth, and it's really a big deal. And so I didn't want to have her see any fear or worry on mine. So I really, put on the face of like, nah, we got this. But, in the beginning, there was a lot of like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Because you have one child and then you have another, and you're like, these things didn't happen with the first one. What's going on? And you're just trying to figure it out.
Right.
But then as we moved forward, and then we got prayer, and I just realized, like, you know what? Like, we traveled around the country. We've seen people get healed all over the place. Why can't it happen in our lives? You know what I mean? Like, directly.
Right.
So we walked in faith, and Kerri was so strong. Like, I remember the doctors. I mean, these are doctors that, so many degrees, whatever, and they're telling her this is what it's going to be. And so she basically said to them, I'm sorry that with your limited faith that's what you believe is going to happen. And she said, but I believe that my God is going to heal my child and take away all of these things. And we cut to, I forget how much longer later, but we were at a show, and that doctor was there, and she said,
and Ruby was there.
God has healed your baby. So,
wow.
And also, God healed her lungs, Naz. He healed her heart. He supernaturally, there was no medical. She took the oxygen off. She's not only running and jumping; she's dancing. She's doing gymnastics. She's in regular school.
She's inappropriately climbing in the bathroom at school, so
she got in trouble for going in the boys' bathroom, which I was like, that's not her fault. We should put.
So
but,
what?
Yeah.
What do you tell? And this is, I know sometimes, a lot of churches, they went from talking about the miracles that God can do, and I'm talking about right now, I'm not talking about Pentecostal churches, I'm talking about Southern Baptist, Calvary, other churches that, the non-denominational, and sometimes they're afraid to share a miracle because they go, what about the ones that their kids didn't have that miracle, didn't have that healing? What do you say to them?
And I say, okay, so my mother was in Vietnam, and my dad's a vet, and we have veterans, and we all fight. I lost some really good people in my life. I lost my assistant. You might have met her.
I remember her, yes, I met her.
Yeah, she passed away a couple years ago. We're all in a war. And because of Amelia, I'm going to keep fighting. I am devastated when the devil wins a battle, but he's not going to win the war. So as long as I'm here, I'm going to fight for my kid. I'm going to fight for your kid. I've started an international prayer ministry all over the world. We have families praying for babies, praying for kids. They're coming out of autism. They're coming out of Down syndrome. They're coming out of cerebral palsy. And and my mother's just celebrated 10 years cancer-free. But
Amen.
man, Naz, I have fought the good fight of health. I've had so many health attacks, my family, and we've lost soldiers. But we are in a war with the devil, and if churches don't want to preach that, then they're doing a disservice to their community because they're just going to get hit more and they don't even know how to fight. So my job is just to tell people, this is how I fought. I'm still fighting. We're not perfect yet. She still has a little, like, speech issues, and she kind of sucks at math, but that's not my fault. But
her
you know,
dad is Korean, and she
fighting.
sucks at math.
Yeah, I know. She's only a quarter, that's why. But, like, we're still fighting. I still have to fight people saying things about her, calling her, like, precious angel and all this stuff. But I'm like, God, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going. Like, I was pretty sick for the past month, major health problems, had a kidney stone, and I still went to perform, and I still know that there are people that got saved at those shows and delivered at those shows. And if I hadn't shown up that day, the devil would have won. So I'm very careful to be respectful about people that have had losses or still battling, because I wanted them to know that I'm sensitive to that. And it's just one kid I'm fighting for. You know, I'm just fighting for my own kid, and other parents can do as they choose to do.
And this is interesting because, you know, having also Ron on the line, being comedians, you know, the show must go on. And I remember times where I was like so sick. I was, and I mean, so sick. This happened just last January. I was in Oregon. I was laying on the floor in the green room and just like, just trying to breathe. And the promoter's looking at me. She goes, "We can cancel the show." I said, "No, just tell the opening act to go 2 more minutes up." And I said, "Lord Jesus, please, and I got up and went and did an hour and a half standing ovation, went back to the green room and landed flat. Now, you having a kidney stone, and tell us, most men, what would they do if they have kidney?
Oh my gosh. And then I was telling you, I'm like, listen, bro, you guys are up to IVs and morphine in 3 states. But yesterday I was so sick. I mean, and you make adjustments. I was supposed to fly in at 7 a.m. to Phoenix for my show, and I called Southwest. I was like, hey, do you guys have a 9 o'clock flight? I just need 1 more hour in my house to get it together, you know. And I also realize it's about taking care of ourselves as best we can. But I'm never ever in pain on stage. It's like adrenaline and Jesus. I mean, sometimes I've been kicked off by a stretcher like times, but I was just grabbing people left and right, praying for them, because I was like, if I pray for you, I'm going to get healing.
Is the sound getting? I'm talking to Sean, our engineer. Is the sound good right now? There's a little cutting.
I hear that water thing again a little bit.
I think it's from Ron's phone.
Oh, Ron's
it's
always
picking up some of the.
What did I do?
You're just having Ron is cutting.
He's getting me medicine. I need to go in the female.
Okay, Ron, I have one question.
You sound like her lawyer.
I am her attorney. Ron, I will have one question for you, and I will just let you release you from the call. But I would love to have you on the show. But I have a question. When you married Carey, you both were comedians. You are comedians, and you both were hilarious. I saw you being like, okay, I want my wife to shine. I want my wife to rise. I wanna follow her dream. And you did something that's just amazing that most men don't do that, because mostly you see the wife is the one that's trying to support the husband to go on and do his career. But you went the other way, and I always admired that about you.
What he's trying to say, Ron, is you let me be funnier than you. That's how he's saying it.
Well, I mean, if you look at most of the things, like the way it goes is that the one, I guess, in a comedy duo, who are they going to laugh at? They're going to laugh at the chubby guy. And when Carrie wasn't pregnant, I was the chubby guy. so I had to maintain that. But like, here's the thing is that she is really funny, and it really wasn't like a total conscious thing, but it was just like, as we were going, like, she would be funny, and then the setups could be about me, because I think, like, even like in a social way, if you're just sitting there making fun of women the whole time, that's not going to work, because that just like, that sounds like, now it sounds mean or something. So then I'm just like the likable kind of funny guy, and gosh, people have been laughing at me all my life, so I'm pretty good at that. But yeah, it was no big deal. And, she's moving on. She's got, because you know my comedy act from the very beginning, because you're my comedy teacher that really took me in and developed it. So if you hear any of my jokes in her act, that's not only because that she's really, really funny, but
she got him in the divorce, huh? She won them. Well, Ron, I love you, man. You're so funny, and you know what? I don't care what anybody says. I'm praying right now that you two may come together one day, regardless of what you say. And in Jesus' name.
You might have to fast, man.
What?
You might have to fast for like 6 years.
Oh, it's not worth it. Go ahead. Okay, Ron, thank you so much for your time and being on the air with us. I love you, man.
Love you too, man. You guys take it easy.
All right, take care. This is awesome. You know what, Carrie? What do you say to a single woman who got a divorce and she have kids and she's so busy with her kids, but now she is it's like she doesn't want to be alone. She wants to get married. What do you say to these single women who?
I say let's rethink that. I mean, really, I have like 2 closets. I watch whatever I want. I have an electric blanket that keeps me warm at night. I mean, do you really want to get remarried? I mean, that's what I say. But I'm like, come on, let's think about it. So I ran into a friend who was recently divorced, and she's like, yeah, I'm seeing somebody. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, I would say, make sure that you are good with you, and make sure that you are complete with you, and that your reasons for wanting to be with somebody are the right reasons. And somebody said to me something like, when I first got divorced, they said, try to be single half the years you were married, like, be single that long. So if you're married for 10 years, maybe start dating after 5 years. I didn't know if that's a true theory or not, but I just see a lot of women needing to jump back into something when they're not ready. And then it's just terrible because they weren't hearing from God, and then that wasn't the match that God had for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I'm not one to tell anybody what to do because I am no role model, but I'm just really happy. I love my kids. I love watching Hallmark movies with them. It's a lot of burden to be like sole custody and working and supporting them. But God makes a way. He always makes a way. So I'm happy.
Amen. And I want to play one bit from YouTube about being single. This is really funny. So we're gonna play it, and then I'll get back to ask you.
Like this was before. This is why I don't want to date again. California boys, very liberal, and I love you men. And I think women, even though they didn't know they were, we need to respect the men. We need to respect the men. We love you. We need you. We love you, especially when the check comes. Like I am just, or when there's luggage to be lifted. Like I'm seriously, I don't even yes. Or there's a rodent. Okay, I'm like I need a man right now. And so being single is hard. Like I took my own garbage out by myself. I'm like, hear me roar. I can do this. I'm Norma Ray. I changed the light bulb, and it's just like, I'm so strong. But, no, the thing is, I went on this date like a long time ago, and it was the first date, and the check came, ladies. The check came, and you know what? I said, let me get that. And you know what he did? He let me get that, you guys. That is ghetto, all right? That is inappropriate, Kansas City. Men, write it down. You don't take a woman and what she means when she says, let me get that, is maybe in 6 months she'll leave the tip and we're going to call that even, okay? Well, these guys in California, you don't take a woman to the movies and he's like, I'll buy the tickets, you buy the popcorn. I'm like, no, popcorn costs $957. We just spent $200 to look natural for you. Do you know what I'm talking about? And they better like it on the first date because that's the most effort we are ever going to put in. Women, you know that I'm right. They're like, what about your wedding? You want to look good on your wedding? No, I don't need to look good on my wedding. I got you, okay? You are standing at the end of the aisle, and if the groom leaves, the best man moves over, he's got the ring, all right? They're all dressed alike. Who do you think planned that? Einstein? I'm getting married today, all right?
That is funny. That is funny. One time, Carrie, when this, this single lady comes to me and she said, you know what, Naz, you married people don't understand, how hard it is to be single. You get up in the morning and here's your wife next to you, in your arms. And she goes, I don't have that. I said, get up in the morning. When we get up in the morning, you know what happened? It's like FEMA. It's like, come on, kids, let's go, let's go, let's go. So get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. No, 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 you're not taking anything with you. Just get in the car. We're late for school. Just go, go. If I tell my wife, just stay in my arm or let me kiss you, I'll be stabbed. But sometimes
Right,
you have
yeah,
this. But you had a good point about, hey, if you're single right now, enjoy being single. People know my story. I mean, I wasn't about clocks ticking. I saw my wife that first day. I asked her to marry me. 5 days later, we were engaged. That doesn't happen normally. But this broadcast was talking about miracles. The miracles with Ruby, the miracle of me, how I met my wife in one day. And so that's good. You wrote 4 books, and they were great books. And the publishers, like you went from Zandervan's to other great publishers. What is your latest book?
Thank you.
What's your latest book?
I have 2 books coming out, and they're pre-order now. They're available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. But it's called Confessions of the Proverbs 32 Woman, How I Went from Messed Up to Blessed Up Without Changing a Single Thing. And the second one is called Devotions for the Proverbs 32 Woman, She Rises Late and Her Kids Make Her Breakfast. And they're based on my letters. I never felt like I measured up to be a Proverbs 31 woman because I was like, I don't plow, I don't rise early. So in the book, I got her email address in heaven from her Twitter account, and I started writing letters as a modern-day woman struggling with life and issues and all those other things to the Proverbs 31 woman. And the book is sort of an exploration of comparing her life to my life and how God meant to use her as an example, but also the grace that he offers through her example. So it was really fun to write. I think it's the only devotional where you'll hear 80s rap music lyrics and Botox stories and Patrick Swayze stories and Bible stories in the same book. So I had to get the rights to some of those theme songs, but I was like, I'm doing it. So, I'm excited about it, and we're on tour right now, and it's really fun.
When do you have all this time? You're in Hollywood. You're doing shows. I saw one of your interviews with CNN being a Christian in Hollywood, which is that's difficult. I mean, I came out of Hollywood, but you stayed in Hollywood. And how was that with your faith?
Well, I just never said yes to anything that I felt God was not going to be pleased with, and he's been really good to me. I started comedy so I could create my own projects, and then I became a writer so I could create my own content. And as we spoke on the phone earlier, I've been really blessed with a job opportunity, my second one with the Hallmark Channel, and they're really supportive of clean material. So I felt like God has helped me find my place in this crazy town. I mean, no, I'm not starring on my own sitcom, and that's okay, but I get to write movies in my kitchen with guacamole and chips with an amazing writing partner. We usually start writing at 8:30 after the kids are in bed, and it's always funny when you have your ex-husband chiming in with, like, punchlines and stuff when you're writing love stories for other people. But it's kind of a circus, but I really love it. I'm so happy to be working. You taught me that years ago. During the recession, I called you on the phone, and I was like, man, I can't, I'm not going to work. And you're like, keep your head down, Kerri. Only the strong survive. And so I just am grateful to have a job in this business, and I'm excited to be working.
That is awesome. And it's funny, I was sharing this with you earlier. We need you with the Hallmark Channel. I'll tell you why, because my mom sits at home and watches the Hallmark. It's the same story. Okay, it's Christmas.
We need to get some Middle Eastern leading men.
No, they won't. They won't have. You have to be beautifully perfect looking to be on Hallmark. And it's always about this girl that's engaged to get married. She flies, and all the planes are canceled because of the storm.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about 90% of the movies at Hallmark.
Engaged to get married.
And then
she goes into her lumberjack boyfriend. There's a bed and breakfast. I know how to write these movies. There's a bed and breakfast.
No,
there's a snowstorm. The girl's a princess. It's Candace Cameron. I get it. Pay me the money. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And this is what happened.
What do you want? Sci-fi? Come on.
No, but I mean, it's always, like okay, so the cancel, she meets this guy, he takes her to his family, they spend Christmas, she's in love with him because of her, but I'm so glad you're writing new stuff. You know what, I want to take you somewhere where it's not maybe not comfort, but I read something when on your bio that says when you were little, you had scoliosis, which is requires a lot of discipline, which you are in stretching and exercises, and it's a daily thing. And it's
Oh, I was so bad. I was way worse than that. I had to have spinal reconstruction surgery.
oh,
I was so beyond the stretching and the exercises. I had electric shock treatment, which is probably why my brain is the way it is. It was horrible, Naz. It was a really horrible trial, but I came out of it stronger and better. And if I hadn't had that happen, I wouldn't have taken a left turn towards acting, and that's where God wanted me to be.
amen. Because some people don't know that I have rheumatoid. So when I was between ages 19 and 21, I could hardly walk, and then I end up running 2 marathons
Wow.
and all that. But it's
Wow.
every day. You gotta stretch. There's some pain, and you gotta stretch, and you gotta do this. So you're a superwoman with everything. I see where God's hand is on
Hey,
you.
you're sweet.
And
I have
what?
a heating pad for my back. I'm an old lady.
And you're not an old lady, but you are a motivational speaker. To people just look at comedians and think, oh, you do great. I listened to one of your motivational messages for big corporations. Just amazing, amazing. So how can people, like if people are listening, how can they get a hold of Carey? How can they book Carey? How can they I know you told us about your
you.
books. What can they do?
You're so good at that. They can I spend an inappropriate amount of time on Facebook and social media and Instagram. But if they're listening, if they remember the words Proverbs32woman.com, that'll take them to my main site, and they can go anywhere from there: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. But Proverbs32woman.com has all my info, and I think everybody listening should book me and you to do a show together. And actually, I think we are going to do a show together.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that.
Some
in
people.
November.
Yes, in November. Some people don't, know about Laughter for All. We have a vision to change California for Jesus through comedy by going to events and telling them about Jesus, but also encouraging people to go out and share their faith with 7 people. We call it the Change California, Change the Nation campaign, and they can know about that by going to laughterforall.org. But so we do 7 large shows every year in large cities. And September 20th, we're going to be in Bakersfield, October 18th at Maranatha in San Diego. But we just secured Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, people. They
That's
need
right,
laughter.
baby.
They need hope. So we're doing on November 2nd, 2019. We are Saturday night, 6 p.m., free show. We can only take 1,500 people. So we need people to go to laughterforall.org and secure their free ticket.
I have to translate that for you. They have to understand you.
Say it in English.
Laughterforall.org. Yes, laughterforall.org. Come see me in Nazareth, and I will be translating
Yes,
like an
in
interpreter
English.
below him.
Exactly.
In his comedy.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen. So laughterforall.org, you can find out me and Kerri Pomarolli. We're gonna be doing comedy. So invite your unsafe friends, invite your friends. Just come on to Bel Air and start praying for the city of Los Angeles. They need hope. Start praying for San Diego. Start praying for Bakersfield. They need hope. So I want to thank you, Carey. What can you tell people? Just something encouraging to the people listening to us today. How can you encourage them?
I think the things that make us cry today are going to be the things that make us laugh tomorrow, because I'm living proof of that. You're living proof of that. And that whatever you're going through right now, just know that God is going through it right with you, and that we can laugh at the devil because he's ridiculous and he's not going to win.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for taking the time. Single mom with 2 kids, writing books, doing movies, writing movies, traveling the world, being on several tours all together. I hope this motivates some women, single or with kids, to be able to be encouraged by the amount of things you can do for the Lord, and just amazing. Carey, thank you so much.
Thanks,
we love you.
Naz.
It's an honor to be your friend.
Thanks, buddy. It's been fun to be with you.
Thank you. And join us next Monday, another podcast that will make you laugh, encourage you, and inspire you. Please, if you like this podcast, tell your friends about it. Share it with with your loved ones. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook under Comedienne Nazareth, on Twitter at Nazman, and on LinkedIn at Nazareth R. You can also enjoy some of my videos on YouTube under Comedienne Nazareth TV. So please do that. It will help us. If you enjoyed us, we never ask for anything, but just go and like us or follow the podcast. It is all over on iTunes and others. Just subscribe to it. It will really help us. Until next time, may the Lord bless you, guide you, and shine His face upon you and give you wisdom. Keep laughing. It's really good for you. Again, thank you so much, and we'll see you next Monday.